Hello. Hi. Um, my name's Charlie Clemoes. I'm a resident here. You're with me for the next hour and a half. It's going to be like what would normally be about a 20-minute walk for an hour and a half, so we're going to be very slow. The first thing I suppose to talk about is what I'm hoping to get out of this myself, because I want to get a bunch of recordings from you of materials, but I also want you to sort of use various different methods to experience the materials around you differently. As with I think everybody, sort of treat the built environment as somewhat of a stage on which other things happen, but I don't really give much time to think about it. I don't stop and feel and encounter and listen to the built environment. So through a bunch of different methods, I want you to basically kind of talk to the materials around you or have a conversation with them. So first exercise is called a trust walk. So you have to pair up and take turns, one closing your eyes and the other guiding you. But the point is to just experience the ground as you're walking and experience the feeling of the ground. And I want you to think as you're walking, is it supportive of you?
What is straight? Just straight.
So the next one is a slow walk, which is quite similar to the last one, but it's on your own. So effectively, you can't go slow enough. As you're walking, think about how your heel touches the ground and then move towards the side of your foot and then the front of your foot and then rest and then move your weight onto that foot and then do the same with the other foot. And you can't go slow enough. And the idea is to walk as slow as you can to the end of this road. So that's basically it. I want you to speak to the materials that sound interesting to you through your microphone. So that's the basic thing I want you to pay attention to, is like what material interests you, do you find interesting when you listen to it through the microphone, and how would you speak back to it? How would you notate the sound it's making in a language of your choosing, and how would you speak back to it in that form? That's basically it, and you can do that while you're recording. You can talk to your recording. you're going in this direction, and then I think we'll see how long that takes us, and then there's a final exercise where you'll be doing a voice note, just reflecting on some of the things that you've encountered today, and that's going to take us to the end point.
During the walk, being blinded, I felt discomfort and fear. I constantly needed to repress my desires to open my eyes. My body was calling me to open my eyes. One surprising feeling is that when it comes to a step, when my foot is reaching to the ground, before reaching to the ground, I always feel like the step can be really steep. The stair can be really steep. And that was a scary feeling. But then immediately my foot reached the ground, and it always turned out the step was really small. But in my mind, in my brain, the image was constructed in my brain that I am stepping really steeply. I think it's just body warning or being extremely alert.
Mi è piaciuto soprattutto condividere un'esperienza con persone che non conosco, la vicinanza che si è creata in alcuni casi con persone che probabilmente non rivedrò più.
I think the slow walking was the exact right start for me in still my hangover mood. It was maybe the right pace for me to be in. And after my hurrying, it slowed me down and it made me pay attention to the way I'm moving through this place. It made me aware of the materials which I'm touching with my feet. It slowed my gaze down. So while the city was still moving fast around me, I was feeling like I could take the time to kind of as if you're zooming in, right? Like not only slowing the time down, but through that you're also taking more time to watch and to see and experience, and as if you're zooming in on a more detailed level. I'm much more aware of like which materials are actually existing here next to each other. Which materials are surrounding me and holding the spaces for me, for us.
I began to feel very melancholic as I was connecting to the sounds of my surroundings. Also, maybe something of despair. Couldn't think what sounds I really associated with home. At the same time, I felt supportive and quite a sense of community with the materials I walk on, and the materials that uphold my surroundings.
This morning I was thinking a little bit about the aesthetic experience of sound, and in particular I got stuck on the word timbre, which is a word we use to describe, or a word in English, I think it's in English at least, used to describe something that might be like texture or a certain sonic aesthetic property. And I was also thinking about how walking is a kind of rhythm, and how that slow walking process was very meditative in that it put me at least into a different, very slow rhythm, which facilitates a kind of noticing. I know in many ways this workshop was about the sonic, but weirdly it brought these other interacting qualities.